Heyo! Welcome back to another episode of the Rap Dad Podcast. As always, I'm Junes, and across from me,
Melancholy.
damn straight. You know how it is. And we got a guest tonight. Pretty hyped about it. Good friend of ours, personal
Very good
friend.
yes.
And played shows with him, skated with him. He's the homie. You guys know our social medias. Instagram, the Rap Dad Podcast, all that shit down in the description. We don't even need to go into it. You guys already know. Check the description for all the links. Our guest tonight is our homie, MC Friend. What up, man?
What's up, guys? How you guys doing?
Doing well.
man.
How are you doing?
Awesome. Doing very well, man. I'm very excited to be here.
Well, we're happy to have you. Thank you for coming down on short notice. Normally, we book usually a couple weeks in advance, and this is like 8 days or some shit. So
Yeah.
thank you.
I mean, it worked out. I actually have like this time free, and I'm going to be booked up pretty much starting Monday. I'll be very busy, so this is perfect.
There we go.
That's what I like to
That's
hear.
how it happens.
Absolutely. But before we get into anything, before I start asking a bunch of questions and getting into what I normally do, go ahead and drop all your social medias where people can find you, follow you, all that shit. Let them know because that's important. Most important.
All right. I mean, I'm an open book. My name is Trevor Parker. You can find me on social media under that. Mc Friend, MC_Friend, Instagram, and TikTok is what I predominantly put my stuff out on. So that's where you find me.
There you go. And if you guys are lazy and you don't want to have to do research, down in the description.
It's right there.
It's there. Just
do
click
it.
it,
Here
follow
we are.
it, like it, do it. But yeah, without further ado, let's get into this. I'm pretty stoked. As we were talking about earlier, we've been friends for a long time, but there's a bunch of shit I don't know about you. When you know people, you're not always like interviewing them.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
exactly,
saying? You're not
right,
like,
yeah.
tell me this, tell me that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it'd be weird if you just grilling your friends like that, just being like, you'd be like, what the fuck, man?
you the fucking
So
police,
yeah,
man?
I'm super excited. Plus, you've got some stuff going on with TikTok recently, so we got some stuff to jump into. I'm pretty hyped.
Yep.
But as always, what we normally do is we want to let the folks know who you are, the origin of you. So tell us a little bit about how you got into hip hop.
I mean, growing up, my mom listened to a lot of like the big hair bands and like Metallica and that kind of stuff. I feel like it was like maybe like daycare type stuff, just like, pop music or hip hop playing on the radio that kind of got my feet wet a little bit into it. My friends, like I grew up in kind of like a low income area, so it was more prevalent like in the groups that I was hanging out with, like hip hop more stuff. I remember that like Bone Thugs and Tupac song that that one. I ended up getting that like double cassette tape, and that was kind of I think my intro to like rap music. I think hip hop music, and then Eminem and all that going forward kind of set the tone for me being a fan of hip hop really in general.
So your first foray was Bone Thugs. I wouldn't have pictured that.
No,
we've
me
been
neither.
homies forever. I would not have been like,
I
yeah,
totally
it was.
would have
it was-
assumed something underground.
The hook was
No.
Bone Thugs that got him in, right?
God damn.
Underground came a lot later. That was like in high school. I think is like I got like an Aesop Rock and it was like God Loves Ugly and the Bazooka Tooth. I got both those CDs at the same time, and that was kind of like my intro to underground hip hop.
Okay. When did you start rapping then? When did you decide to like start actually like being like, well, I think I could do this shit?
Never. I never did.
I still don't know if I
Still,
can.
yeah.
Well, no, it's like I feel like it found me. It kind of seems a little bit corny, but it's true. Like I was in therapy. Like the first round, I think it was freshman. No, it was junior year of high school or something like that. I was dating a girl. She broke up with me, broke my heart, went around and slept with all my friends, and it was really tragic. And I was having a hard time. I was mental health issues and suicidal tendencies and those kind of things. And I was going and seeing a therapist. And write down your thoughts, write down your feelings. You know what I mean?
For sure.
At that point in time, I'd had exposure to hip hop. Huge fan of Who Cares, Ernie and Jamal. Look up to those two guys very, very much. And I was hanging out in Sinclair Street, like the block over there, and the Hawk Crew and the graffiti and Live for Die for skateboarding stuff. And that was basically, I looked up to those guys a lot. So when I was, writing my thoughts down, for the therapist, she told me to read it, and then she told me to slow down. Because, I was basically writing poems, and the poems had like a tempo and a cadence, and I was rapping. And she said, slow down. I said, I can't. I wrote it this way. and then that was kind of the beginning of like, all right, maybe I'm actually rapping. So it wasn't like, I'm going to be a rapper. It was never really that,
Yeah, it was more of a natural
It was a progression. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
That's pretty cool, though. Because, I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of people who listen to this and who make music that were like, oh, man, I would love to be a rapper. That's kind of how it was for me. I was like, I want to perform live.
Yeah.
That was my thing. So to have,
I love that. Still.
yeah,
Like
of
I
course,
live for
of
that
course.
for sure. But
Of course. But to have that natural progression, like to where you're like, writing your thoughts down and it's almost already raps, it's like, well, it's kind of natural for me.
yeah, I mean, also like listening to Eminem, like I always like I loved his inner rhymes. The way that words work together, I've always thought is so beautiful. So, it's a challenge too. Like getting all your words down and being able to convey what you're actually feeling, and it's an art to it. And I appreciate that. art
Most
very
definitely.
much.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I'm pretty sure we have the most words in any language. I mean, look at the amount of synonyms and shit that you can use. You can say the same thing so many different ways.
Yeah.
It's pretty, it's pretty crazy. That's why, I kind of get disappointed when I hear someone that's like pretty repetitive. It's like,
Yeah.
hey man, read a book.
Okay.
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 No, that's always been one of my favorite things about, and probably why we click so hard too with our writing styles and everything is you're definitely up there in terms of people in town who you have like so many different things going on within your bars. It's not a simple A-B rhyme. You've got, you got rhyme schemes inside. So you're doing like a B and then B. It's just,
I mean,
it's
sometimes I don't even know if I'm rapping on beat.
Exactly. Yeah. Like
multiple
there's
syllables. Yeah. It's very technical.
very, very technical.
You're never basic. You've never, nothing that you've ever written or performed that I've ever seen is like, would be considered basic. It's always very technical.
Yes.
As far as rapping, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it's pretty dope. So when did you start like writing music and like being like, oh, well, like, I mean, like there's a point when you find an interest in hip hop and you're like, oh, maybe I might be able to do something like this. But there's also that point where you're like, oh, I'm going to start trying to write songs or trying to write raps.
Definitely. Yeah.
When was that?
That was in high school. I don't remember what class it was exactly, but I had it with Kyle Leesdale, Goonie.
Yep, Goonie. Goonie
so
Wolf.
yeah, I mean he's definitely like he is hip hop. That guy, like I feel like he represents almost all the corners.
Super dope
what I mean?
artist, graffiti artist, super dope rapper.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah,
Producer.
Yeah, we had like traded notes back and forth, kind of thing, like passing notes in class, but we were passing raps back and forth. And I don't know if necessarily he was a huge fan of what I was writing. I think he kind of was a little judgy on one of the things I did, but I remember him being like, no, it's kind of like whatever, but also like, that's what I wanted to get in graffiti too. And like every name I wanted to choose, like it's taken, it's too long, So like I kind of gave up and started just doing characters, but it was basically that. And then he had asked me if I wanted to join Bad News, which was, it was Wild Things. It was like the first group that kind of evolved to a different group. And then, I kind of started calling it Kyle's band because he's like, all right, you're going to rap here and you're going to rap about this and you're going to rap, it's like, and it was very, very constructed. And, I didn't feel like I had the freedom that I think this genre to me is all about, creativity and expression of that. And I felt like I was in a little cage. So I, broke out and started doing my own stuff, had the connections that I'd built with the group and then kind of steamrolled it from there a little bit.
See, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I didn't know that you started with them doing that. I had no idea.
And so I'm sure this has been cleared up before, but we used to drink quite a bit in the past, obviously. So
absolutely. I'm going to do my best to remember stuff. It's like,
but because I was pretty fresh in the scene right around that same time as well, so I knew of Wild Things, but I always thought you were a part of Wild Things.
It was like Bad News became Wild Things, and I was a part of Wild Things. It was like I was kind of here and there, and then I was a part of it, and then I wasn't, and then there was a moment when like Wild Things I feel like had like 7 people or something.
Very much so.
It got.
I feel like Bad News if Bad News was a group that evolved into Wild Things, minus you, definitely not the right name because it was 100% right.
Yeah.
Wild Boys. Those motherfuckers were wild. Like Bad
Oh,
News
fuck
and
yeah.
Wild Things fit them 100%. Those dudes are fucking wild on stage.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen some of those dudes like fucking drop like a fucking $1,100 mic at a fucking venue. Like mic drop like because they just killed a verse. Like, yeah, dude, like
Oh, my
crazy
God.
shit, dude. Just like starting fights and like they were wild.
Yeah.
Definitely wild. Which is crazy because you're not so much like that. You're very nice and normal and well put together and intelligent. Not saying they're unintelligent, but those boys, MK, Goonie, those guys, they get buck.
Oh, yeah.
And they used to get real wild.
Yeah, yeah.
They're all dads now, I think. So
Yeah.
they're all rap dads, so I think they're chilled out.
Exactly,
But
yeah.
Yeah, no, that fits appropriate. And I could never see that, really. I know you did music with them, but it just doesn't seem like your energy would fit with them or mix well with them.
Yeah.
I mean, even when you were partying, because obviously we all
Yeah, I
had
think that was
several beverages together, but you're still
Handful.
very like you're a classy drinker. You're always like you party. Well, but you're not like this is drink Paps and
I
like
was practiced.
sloshing like yeah.
Well, I
you're a
mean,
vet,
even-
very
I
much
was a
so.
vet, yeah.
Even then, like back in those days, like me and you would get very drunk together, but we go different paths. You're still
That's what I'm
reserved
saying.
and you're still
That's what I'm
like
saying.
able to maneuver with people, where
Yeah.
me, I am
Yeah, you're like-
climbing bridges and
Yeah, you're
getting
like-
very
you're like,
belligerent and
I'm pretty
obnoxious.
sure
and
we are
like,
gonna have to fight someone tonight because
exactly,
of
yeah.
Mike.
Like we take different paths, you know.
I
So
can
it's
never
like,
picture that.
Yeah,
I would have been perfect in Wild Things, you know what I mean?
exactly.
Like,
That's
yeah,
very well put. That's what I mean by that. Is that you definitely obviously were a wild thing. Very
I mean,
much
I
so.
definitely had a little bit of trouble fitting in, also feeling like I fit in a lot of scenarios, in a lot of settings growing up. So that was definitely a challenge, like finding myself and,
Oh,
who
for
I
sure.
am and where I fit.
Yeah, for sure. Well, okay. Well, see, there's brand new shit that I just learned.
Yep.
See, I'm glad
Yeah.
we're doing this. So did you play shows with them? Is that when you started playing shows, or did you play shows afterwards?
Yeah, I started playing shows with them, and that's kind of why you can't find a lot of my music online. If you do, it's basically something that I recorded on my laptop in my bed with the mic that's a part of my laptop. Like, really, is because I had all those connections from playing the shows with Bad News or with Wild Things. So like, it's Brandon DeRiso and those people. So it was like when I decided to do my own thing, they're like, hey, you want to play a show? Absolutely. So I was still playing these awesome shows with a lot of my idols or whatnot, opening up and doing shows with you. And that was huge, and that was basically, that's how it all got going,
Damn, that's crazy. See, I had no idea. I knew you after the fact. I thought you were always a solo artist. I knew you were associated with them, but I thought you were a solo artist, and you then became a part and worked with them. But that's crazy. I had no idea. I've always known you as a solo artist, so I always assumed that you were just this independent being, which, I mean, obviously it makes much more sense that you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're very much your own person. You have your own style. So I'm kind of glad that you didn't try to stick it out with them, because obviously
and that's no
they don't
disrespect to
exist.
those.
No,
dudes,
absolutely
You
not.
know?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean,
guys too.
groups dissipate. Shit,
Oh, yeah.
I was in a group, doesn't work anymore. I've been in 2 groups prior to the one.
I was in a group for
Yeah.
a minute there.
Yeah, shit happens, dude.
And CSU, shout out.
There you go, dude. New Car Smell University. If you guys want to go to college,
Talk about not fitting in.
dude, 100%. No. Well, let's bring it back a little bit. Obviously, music's a part of growing up. It's something that we've all been attracted to, even from a young age.
Yes.
We always ask this. What was the first show that you went to?
The Vandals.
Really?
Yeah.
Savage, dude. Where at?
The VFW hall.
Really?
Yeah, on Moana.
Dude.
Yeah, below the baseball field.
The best thing about punk rock music is they always do those tours with those. I mean, I went to a show and saw the Ataris at the Elks Club in Carson City. And I was like, what the fuck
Yeah.
is this place? I was like, this is a venue, concert venue? And people are like, no, it's not.
Yeah.
But they will let punk shows get booked there.
so
it was
sweaty.
wild, dude.
So
Dude,
sweaty.
it's crazy.
Sounds
They're-
sweaty.
Dude, it is. Yeah. But I mean, shit, dude. Talk about a first show.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, punk rock. I mean, I was definitely I feel like I struggled with finding my identity for a long time, but I definitely felt like I was punk for a while. I feel like I've kind of fit in. I'll try to dip my toes in every little bit. I
Well,
think.
good music is good music. It doesn't
Especially,
matter what genre it
yeah,
is.
and I can relate to that quite a bit as well with my mom and my stepdad were huge metalheads and everything. So it's hip hop was something completely new to them, and so it's that's what you're drawn to, and that's what, you're like, damn, that it's so fucking cool. But then I don't want to say not having the support necessarily, but then like all of that influence from their music into you, and you're trying to combine these two worlds together. Often you get punk rock out of that.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, it's another independent raw underground style or genre of music.
100%.
You know, it's very much real. You know, that's why a lot of people don't like it, because it's almost too real. A lot. I mean,
Speaks
a lot
the
of
truth.
Yeah, a lot of punk rock is pretty raw.
Yeah.
Especially, some of the older shit too. It's like, oh damn,
Super raw.
Yeah,
You get
yeah.
Gigi Allen fucking shitting on the floor.
just bleeding on people and like, savage shit.
Yeah.
And it's true though. I mean, it's like, and I feel like there's always those creative minds that are drawn to that type of music where it's like independent art that's abstract, whether it's hip hop or punk rock. And I feel like most people that like that style of artistic view or whatever, like multiple genres, They're not just like, oh, I only like, trap hip hop.
Yeah.
No, it's like, oh no, I listen to fucking any rock. I'll listen to some old ass country from 1930.
Yeah.
Like, all different types of shit. And it's super common. I mean, I can't even name somebody that we've talked to or that I know that's like, no, I just listen to hip hop.
Yeah.
Because normally I don't fuck with ignorant people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Facts.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Oh, man. So started writing pretty young, like most of us did, expressing your views. It's cool that you had somebody like, a therapist, like telling you, hey, I see something, like an outside force pushing you into that. That's pretty rare.
Yeah.
Honestly, most people are like influenced to do it themselves.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool that you had guidance. I mean, do you?
I mean, I don't know. I don't feel like she was there for it as much, but it was definitely like, I mean, I did what I did, and I was gonna do what I was gonna do.
I mean, you were obviously writing that no matter what, but with her being like, well, why don't you like slow it down a little bit and helping you like realize it.
Yeah.
I mean,
and if nothing else, encouraging you to write it down.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, has that been like a solid shaping of the way you write and stuff like that, with being completely honest in your music? Because that's kind of how it was in the beginning.
Yeah. I mean, maybe so. Yeah. I think that's maybe just my journey. I think I really want to be as transparent and open as possible. What you see is what you get. You know what I mean? I want to be... That's who I want to be. You know what I mean? I don't want to have I don't lie. It's too much work. You know what I mean? I'm kind. I treat others like I want to be treated. It's the golden rule.
We say that all the time. Like, imagine how much effort it takes to lie all the time.
Yeah.
Constantly trying to pretend to be somebody.
Yeah.
I can't even be who I really am.
Just imagine all these rappers doing that. Imagine if that was like acting, like Leonardo DiCaprio plays the dude in Django, and then he just has to do that for the rest of his life. It's just like this old
racist
fucking slave owner.
That's who I am now.
This is who I am now. I just,
It's what I like to fake about. Yeah, that's pretty cool. When did you start recording music? Not like, because, I mean, there's been several times that you've recorded stuff. I think you've recorded at my house. You've done a song with Melancholy, which will be featured at the end of the podcast. When did you start like being like, oh, I'd like to maybe have this logged?
Honestly, like some of the only recording I did was at your house. Really, I've now recently I'm figuring out a lot more about myself, being more open, enjoying the process and loving the process, because somewhere along the line, I think I got scared to learn, you know what I mean? And just being learning that whole process I'm taking it on all at once instead of learning a little bit here and there, and listening to my voice. And I've been insecure about my voice. An old friend, Jesse, back in the day, I remember we were at a strip club, and I don't even like strip clubs, but we were at a strip club and we're talking, and he kept interrupting me. And I'm like, bro, I swear to God, you keep interrupting me. And he's like, it's just something about your voice. It's just hard to, grab onto or something like that.
What?
And that guy's an asshole.
I mean,
and what a weird conversation at a strip club.
I know. It's something that I remembered. Unfortunately, you don't get to choose what sticks with you. You know what I mean?
Of course, yeah.
But that's one of the things. It's just one of those insecurities. I'm like, so I've always been here and there about my voice. So listening to myself record, especially if it's just me doing it, if I don't have anybody else pushing me along through the process, or somebody else kind of maybe coaching me or helping me along, then I'm like, I'll just sooner start listening to somebody else rap. You know what I mean? Or maybe just write, is basically what that is.
That's what I struggle with. I can understand that. I feel like that's the reason that... do you take like 40 takes? Like I record the same verse 40 times.
Yeah, man,
and there's probably 19 of them that I could have just kept there all sound the same to me. And eventually I'm like, I don't even know if they're different now. I don't even know.
Yeah, I feel like I can almost do it endlessly and I'll still be dissatisfied at the end.
Exactly. See? All right. So I feel like I'm crazy because Morale, and this gentleman, he could record himself and be like, I like that. I can't. I don't know if I like it or not.
I don't know.
I don't know if it sounds good.
I don't know if it's a thing of like, I like that. Because as you guys both know, I pretty much hate everything that I do. And so like there's about 6 months separation from it. And then I might be able to appreciate it.
What are you talking about? The album that you're supposed to put out 4 years ago is coming out this month? Oh, yeah.
It's more for me when I'm recording of like I hit everything how I wanted to, I guess. Whether or not it sounds good, I don't fucking know. But it's like, when I'm like, all right, I think that's the best that I can do it. So we're just going to live with that instead of, I feel like you guys feel like I could do that better. I could do that better. I could do that better. I think I'm just lazy and I'm like, fuck it. I did it.
Maybe that's the way it should be because your shit sounds good. So
I don't know.
I mean, I listened to the podcast that you guys did with Apprentice and, that when he like the way that he records, how he breaks it up into little pieces, and I'm like, I never even thought of that as an option.
Dude, it's the craziest thing I've ever seen. I've never seen anybody record like that before.
Yeah, and
it's fucking nuts, dude. He'll do a half a bar, and then 3 bars later, do a bar, and then come back and fill all that shit in. And I'm like, what the fuck, dude?
That's somebody who knows exactly what they want, though.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I write like
it
that
sounds
sometimes.
so. Me too. The writing. I'll write the end of a verse to start.
Yeah, that's usually how I
like
but,
but
that's like a thing like I know you do this all the time, but when you're writing something, you're already picturing like a music video or something. You know, you're already planning ahead. I know when I'm recording lately with the last things, I've kind of like definitely got that in my head a bit more of like, okay, I want it to sound like this when I record it or something. But usually when I'm writing, the recording process isn't in my brain all that much. I'm just fucking writing, but I feel like when he writes, he's got a fucking blueprint in his head the
100%.
Entire time. Like, okay, this needs to be recorded this way, and then I'll come in over here.
I've never seen anybody record like that, dude. It still blows my mind when I think about it, dude. I've never seen anybody do that shit, and it sounds flawless. You wouldn't, when you listen to it, you wouldn't think that he's like
a master, dude.
Doing a half a bar, 1 word, 3 bars, a quarter bar. You're like, what, dude? What the fuck? And then you hear it, you're like, what the shit is going on, dude? Yeah. He's
and then he'll just spit it too. Like
it's so comfortable, it's crazy. It's I don't know, man. I'm glad to know that I'm not the only one that's like, I just think I sound like shit all the time, so I don't know what to do, and I need some outside influence. Otherwise, I'll just record this and sit on this forever.
Yeah,
that's good to know.
So what? All right. So obviously, I already know Eminem, but influences.
I mean, Aesop Rock, certainly. I mean, when I'd bought those 2 first CDs I'd gotten, it was Bazooka Tooth and then God Loves Ugly. I listened to God Loves Ugly first. That one I got into first. And then I think Aesop probably sat there for 9 months or something like that.
So that
before I cracked it.
God Loves Ugly was your first introduction to Atmosphere? As far as like an album, right?
As far as an album goes, yeah, it was the Bomb Shelter, certainly.
It wasn't for you though, was it?
No,
you were way into it before. Yeah.
No, the Sad Clown Bad Dub tapes. Those songs I heard first before anything. Still to this day is my favorite Atmosphere song. It's called Bleed Slow. It's not on anything. Mm-hmm. That was the first song I ever fucking heard, and it's just a song that he did that's out on the internet somewhere.
I was just curious. Well, I guess
on anything.
I guess question still kind of stands for you because God Loves Ugly is very different from most everything before that came. What were your guys' first impressions of that? I remember listening to God Loves Ugly for the first time, and it was kind of right around my introduction as well. And I just was kind of like, I don't know how I feel about this at all.
I loved it, man.
Yeah, I think it hit like it plucked a heartstring. I think it was like something at the time. Like I just heard like 1 bar or whatever it was. I remember where I was standing in like my childhood room on the boombox and like looking at both CDs and like literally just like hearing it. And I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
And that was like I was hooked. Really.
I think there were definitely songs on it for me, like Love Life and everything, where I was like, these songs are fucking great. But then Other songs like
I was gonna say
other
I
songs
that too.
like Shrapnel and everything really had to take some time to grow on me before I
love
realized
that
how
instantly.
genius they
Shrapnel
actually were.
was one of my favorite ones. He has that reggae song.
Yeah,
it's like reggae style. Fucking love that one. Yeah, he just has lines like, what does he say? He's like, I'd rather kill the radio and listen to the rain hit.
Modern Man's Hustle.
Yeah, like just shit like that. It's like honest shit, and that's why I was like, dude, I want to make music like that.
Yeah,
it's like I understand it and I relate to it, and who the fuck doesn't want to just listen to some rain sometimes?
Sure.
You know?
Yeah.
Me being 15,
I usually
and
do.
angsty
Yeah,
and heartbroken and shit.
If it's
and
raining,
like,
I'll open the windows.
from a broken home. Like, oh, dude, this is exactly who I am.
Yeah,
and I mean, that's the reason I think I never was like, oh, I have this goal where I want to be famous. When I started making music, I never I just wanted to make music, and first off, I wanted to be able to figure out how to record it,
Yeah.
and then I just want to be able to play music in front of people.
Yeah.
I never was like, I hope I make money from this, and maybe that's a problem. Maybe that's why I don't make that much money from it. Pretty broke off of music.
I actually read something today. My buddy.
Okay.
Yeah, my buddy had gifted me last night. It's Epictetus. He's a stoicist, right? Or stoicist, an ancient stoic. Basically, and one of the things that I read today when I was reading through it, it says if wealth is the only thing that you're like, if you're only out to get rich, you'll never find it.
Yeah.
You know, like you can't fall. You can't like set out to be famous. I just want to be famous. What?
Yeah.
How? You know what I mean? It's not about that. You know, that's something that comes with something else. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's always attached to something else.
And it's not in your control at the end of the day. You have to focus on what is actually in your control.
Yeah. Whatever it's attached to is what you need to be focused on. The fame will come with whatever it's supposed to.
100%.
You know? Yeah. But I mean, I don't know about you guys, but as far as like wanting to make music and being like, I think I want to like try to take a shot at creating music and maybe playing shows. Was there ever a goal where you're like, oh, I want to be on MT, like I want to be famous, like I'd love to be a celebrity?
No, not really. It's kind of terrifying actually, and
Yeah.
I appreciate my space
100%.
and my mental solitude sometimes. You know what I mean, and being able to make my own choices and not be clouded by all of this, distraction or whatnot.
Yeah, definitely. There's a genre of young, quote unquote, rappers that, portray that they're fucking rich and they're doing this, that. They got bulletproof vests that they share with their friends because they're too broke to actually fucking buy more than one.
Those got to be expensive though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
$80.
Damn, that's all they cost? You get $80
When you
Damn.
get those cheap ones.
I'm gonna get a couple, man, different colors.
But no, seriously, it's like there's all these young kids that are like, oh, I want to be famous, and it's like they have this like crazy goal that
Yeah.
I don't think is really attainable.
I went through,
Like
I,
I'm always curious. I never ask any other MCs really.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Did you ever want to like be famous?
I think I went
because I
through-
never did. I just wanted to be like. I just wanted to kind of be like Atmosphere.
I think
Dude,
I wanted to play in
that's
front of
it.
like
Like-
500 people every night
so. I think I went through
and make
went through phases.
$100,000 a year off of music, and that's it.
I don't think I ever wanted to be like that
No.
guy, like
Hell
on
no.
MTV and all that stuff or anything.
Even though he was at one point.
yeah,
MTV
of course,
too,
but that
and-
just comes along, right? It wasn't what he was aiming for.
Exactly.
Yeah,
it
but
comes with it. Just do what you love.
there were definitely phases. I think when I very first started, I wanted to be the Atmosphere of Reno, and I was so full of myself, like I'm gonna be the one who could pop off or whatever, and just not fucking knowing shit about anything at all,
Just being the best at something.
Exactly,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. And then it shifted to if I could just pay my bills and tour, then everything's fine, right? Everything's great. And then it's shifted now, especially after having my son, to where like it's not my focus, right? My family's my focus, and this is now something that does sit on the back burner for me, but it's something that I'll never let go of, But like,
Yeah.
if that happens, like a touring possibility or something like that, then cool, awesome. You welcome that as it comes, right? But if not, like just making some songs and putting them out and having people listen to them or whatever, like I'm cool with that as well.
Yeah, I think for me, it's like I was thinking about it because I haven't really actually thought about this ever before. Actually,
Yeah.
I think I've always just wanted to be heard. You know what I mean? Like, and that's
There you
kind
go.
of what it always was, and like what it's evolved to now with Instagram and TikTok is finding my audience, finding my people. You know what I mean? Because you know, I might show, you know, my rap that I just did. You know what I mean? I spent 2.5 hours writing this verse or whatever, and another 2 hours making the TikTok video, and I show it to my coworker or my good friend, and they're like, "That's sick." You know what I mean? And I've done that, and like where they're like kind of like shrug it off, like they don't really care, and like that's totally cool. You know what I mean? Because they're not my audience, and that's totally fine. Or like my other friends were like, "Man, it's super cool and it sounds super dope, but like you should try using smaller words. You should try reading books." You know what I mean? Like,
hey,
like
man, dumb it down a little bit.
And I've
too
heard
much
that,
for me to understand.
I've heard that many times. And,
You didn't kill one person in this verse,
right?
You did no drugs.
You didn't do a
You
single
fucked
drug.
no bitches.
You don't even have a bulletproof vest on.
I'm pretty sure. Okay. I'm pretty sure you're not a gangster.
No.
Yeah. See, no, and that's where.
But-
my goal was always to not have to fucking pay for shit.
There you go.
Because music costs money.
It does.
So anybody that's new to this, who's like, man, I don't want to work a job, I want to rap. How are you gonna make videos? How are you gonna do that? How are you gonna, if you get a show opportunity out of town, how are you gonna pay for gas in a hotel? How are you gonna buy merch? You gotta have some way to source your love, because it's not a job yet. It's something that you love. So you gotta work. My thing was like, hey, I'm tired of having to pay for hotels, pay for gas, you know, pay a bunch of money to play these shows. After years and years and years, finally we're to a point where it pays for itself. We haven't had to pay out of pocket for anything for almost 3 years now.
Yeah.
Because we manage our money right and we get paid off of stuff, playing shows and merch, it makes money. So it's like, that's the, and like, I'm fucking happy with that.
And you have to invest in yourself in order to get to that point. And that was a big thing that I didn't do for a long time. I didn't understand that you have to invest in yourself. It took forever for me to own a microphone, to like, I mean, all of those things. It's you know, small things.
I remember when you
up.
hit me up, you're like, what? I was gambling. I want some money.
Yeah.
I got some extra money and I don't want to blow it. That's what you said. You're like, I don't want to fucking just waste it on nothing. I want to do this with it. And I was like, well, here's what I have. It's pretty cheap and affordable, but it's quality. And then you like did your own research, and next thing you know, you've got some quality shit, dude. It was just really dope.
You did do a merch run though.
I did, and
Yeah.
I've actually like seen my shirt like floating around here and there, and like
Nice.
which is super sick. Somebody like picked it up from a thrift store one time, which I feel like is like,
That's
cool.
That's,
and
that's,
also,
that's even cooler than anything.
yeah, it's pretty
Dude,
sick.
so-
and also, but like, who bought it and gave that shit away?
I have a very specific memory. So I have a handful of specific memories that I'll probably end up throwing out here at some point. But this particular one, we were at that one bar that's on Virginia. You were living downtown at the time. You always lived downtown.
I've always lived in like the Midtown area.
Yeah. But I don't know. There's like I can't remember what it's fucking called. Anyways, you were wearing your shirt and you were like telling me about the merch run. And then you're like, did you get one of these? And I was like, I didn't know you when you were doing this. And then you were like, oh, here you go. And you just fucking take your shirt off and just give it to me. And I'm like,
I would do that.
I was like, Trev, this isn't gonna fit me, dude. Like I'm bigger than you are. Like, I still have it. I don't wear it because it's like a
You
medium.
dropped it off at the thrift store.
It's like
You
a
already know
medium. It sits in my closet. But yeah, I was like, do you want my shirt in return? Like, I don't know. What are we doing here? Like, yeah, just at the bar, just takes his fucking
MC
shirt
Friend
off and
is the
gives it to me.
wildest shit.
Yeah.
Remember when we went to Ashland?
Yeah.
And like fucking play that show with Sapient, and then like my aunt was there randomly, and her and her like boyfriend bought like his merch, and they were like neon shirts. They were like those
The
bright
danger green. I
and
think.
it was like we were very, very intoxicated. It was nighttime
Man.
after the show, and then he's skateboarding. He ollies this parking lot gap from a parking lot over a sidewalk into the street, and like it's no joke. It's like
It's
legit,
legit.
dude. It was fucking so great, dude. I'll never forget that. And he's wearing his neon shirt.
I literally haven't thought about that until this moment. Like, it's great.
Yeah, it's like, yeah. I mean, shit, dude. Me and MC Friend, like, we're like, I was like, oh, dude, go play a show with Sapient. You want to do a split set? And he's like, all right. And we just like went randomly together out of nowhere to Ashland, got a hotel, went to some weird underground fucking basement club, and played a show with Sapient. And like we were just drunk as shit. We stayed at a hotel that had a restaurant connected to it. We were just drinking Bloody Marys like the next morning before we drove back.
Nice, yeah, been there.
I mean, that was huge. Like for me, that was kind of like, a peak of like my journey in hip hop. Like, you know, those little tours that I did with you guys and rolling around, like that was huge to me. It really was. And like I look back and like I wish I wouldn't. I feel like I squandered a lot of moments with drinking, unfortunately, and like here and there. You know what I mean? It's just I couldn't just pump the brakes on things. It was everything that I've ever done. Always has been
full board.
Yeah. Pedal
Gotta
to metal.
enjoy it. Give me the most joy out of this as I can get.
Maximize. For
Yeah,
sure.
no, I definitely understand. We understand, definitely.
100%.
But, you know, the best thing about you is you're not like a shitty drunk. You were never a shitty drunk where you were like an asshole or you'd break shit or like burn bridges. You're always fun and nice and cordial. Like you said,
I feel personally attacked right now.
you're pretty wild. You're like one of those dogs that's like, he's cool sometimes, most of the time. But, I mean, you take him to the park and there's other dogs around.
Don't get him excited.
It's a little he's harmless. But
Yeah.
you might be worried. Yeah. No. You're always reserved and classy and like nice about it, even though you party real hard. A bunch of soups. Trust. Oh man, we've had a bunch of soups.
Yes, sir.
A whole lot of soups.
A lot of soup.
You know.
We've talked about it a handful of times on this podcast when it comes to like my past drinking stuff, and so I have
Him
mentioned
throwing up in a bar on the bar floor.
Yeah, I was gonna say
bartender, that hurts
we've been. I've mentioned a handful of times where
At your bar?
There's a handful of times that I have thrown up on the floor at the bar, and I think most of those times were at your bar when you're serving me mezcal and everything like that. And luckily, he knows that I'm the homie, so he's like, "Yeah, get the fucking mop, dude."
Well, I mean, you're not the first one of my friends to throw up on the floor at a bar that I work at. At
sure.
least if that makes you feel better.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Shout out to
Fair
Corey
enough.
Noble.
Yeah. I mean, lucky enough, you're not a rebel. You're just another.
Yeah.
It tends to happen.
But yeah,
though.
just get the fucking mop, dude. Just all right.
Well, let's hop a little bit into some of your recent stuff since we've covered your younger days. Obviously, if people haven't noticed, you're sober nowadays.
True.
How long have you been sober now?
Yeah, I stopped drinking the beginning of December, like 15 and a half months ago.
That's awesome. Well,
Yeah.
congratulations. Goddamn.
I appreciate that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man. Congratulations.
And considering, if anybody doesn't know, your profession is bartending.
Bartender. Yep.
I don't feel bartender is classy enough for you because
Oh, no,
you got
you're
a
more
fucking
than a
art, dude.
bartender.
You
Yeah,
make
no.
crazy good drinks.
I mean,
dude.
I wouldn't.
You're an
as long as
artist
we,
with that
like,
shit.
Is that
steer
a
away from the
mixologist?
There you go.
I guess somebody else can call me that, but I would never self-proclaim mixologist because it's kind of pretentious.
No, you are. Yeah, but you are though.
I'll serve you the best old-fashioned you've ever had in a Dixie cup.
I was gonna say
You've served me the best of anything I've ever drank was probably from you.
I appreciate that.
on Hannah's and I's last anniversary, we went to his bar and he made us some very delightful beverages. I text him and I'm like, "Are you working?" He's like, "I am." I'm like, I didn't want to go anywhere else. I didn't want to go somewhere and spend money on an old fashioned with nice booze and it be a fucking shit drink
Yeah.
and then have to tip them
Yeah.
for making me a shit drink. And I knew if he's working, I know it's going to be good. There's not even a question. I've never had one of his prior, but I knew it was going to be great, and it's the best I've had ever.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I spent over a year working on that old-fashioned.
Yeah,
Like, you've
dude,
won-
it's so fucking good.
You've
dude.
won like contests and stuff, right?
It's like candy, dude.
No, I've gotten second place in like every cocktail competition I've
Okay.
ever entered.
That's pretty
much.
damn winning.
yeah, that's still
Second or
To
third.
get second place, dude, making drinks good is so hard. That's why this gentleman and I used
That's
to
why
be
you
like,
just drink whiskey
shots.
Yeah.
I mean, whiskey's good.
It is. Don't get me wrong, but when you can make something nice, like it's a fucking art, dude.
Yeah.
You're a craftsman, and you have been, which is crazy because being sober for 15 months and also working behind the bar in a very popular, busy bar at downtown Reno is like almost oxymoron. Not a lot of people would be able to take that challenge on.
Well, I mean, I think a lot of people say like it's like you can't trust a skinny chef and all that type of stuff. And like when you look at that, it's like because I've had somebody actually kind of say something along those lines to me about bartending, and at the end of the day, like you should trust a sober bartender more because I'm actually looking out for how much you're consuming. Because behind the bar for almost a decade, I was drinking. You know what I mean? I got fired from many jobs and a lot of poor choices, decision making. But as a sober bartender, like I'm cutting a lot more people off, and it's I'm seeing problems come way sooner with people, and that really enhances everybody's time at the end of the day. For sure.
Absolutely. No, and it's and it's the fucking right thing to do. You know, I mean, it really is, because I mean, how many times have you been at a bar and drinking so much that you just throw up at the bar?
At least 4.
I mean, we've been to Jubs where they're just like, I mean, you're like so hammered, and there's like, oh, you would care for another beverage?
I've been served.
Here you go, sir. And
plenty
then you take
of times
it and
where I
try
had
to
no business having another.
I mean,
drink at all.
just recently I saw this girl get served when she had puke on her sweatshirt. I'm like, wow.
See, it's like at that point, it's like, hey, get an Uber.
Yeah.
Goodbye. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and that's, I mean,
but like that's, I don't know. It's like, it's different. I don't want to say it's different, but like that was already what you knew before you got sober. So imagine there's still like that level of comfortability with it.
Yeah.
To a certain point. Like when I got sober, there's no way I could have done that at all.
I mean, yeah, it was like almost like trial by fire. You know what I mean? Like I really like I feel like getting sober behind the bar gave me a super strength.
100%.
Like a huge superpower. It's like I can still like I was talking to you guys about earlier, I was like making this bourbon bacon jam yesterday, and I had 2 hot dogs, and I kind of caught a buzz, and I'm like, shit, you know what I mean? And I can still like straw test these cocktails that I'm making for people to ensure quality or whatever. You got a new whiskey, you got a new mezcal, you got a new gin or something. I was like, well, let me try it, you know, and I'll wet my palate with it just enough to get a taste, and that's that, because like I think I was able to compartmentalize that, you know, and I still value very much my ability to bartend, like providing these, you know, that is a service, you know what I mean? Like,
absolutely.
100%.
And you're great at it too.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like the fact that you can do that is like a crazy willpower that a lot of people don't have.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I mean, it shows that, you know, I mean, if you haven't looked at this, that you probably have the capability to do a lot of shit that almost anything that you want.
Yeah.
You know, that old saying, whatever you put your mind to. If you can do something like that in a city like Reno that's a 24-hour drinking town, you're a bartender, you're sober, but you can test these drinks to make sure that they still taste good and not be like, oh, great. And later on, you know, or you're in the cooler drinking and shit like that. Like, to have willpower like that means, like, you're capable of some pretty fucking amazing shit.
100%.
Whatever you want to do.
When I got sober, I went to rehab.
You don't count.
Well, no, I was gonna say.
Just joking.
I was gonna say I went to rehab, and you know, my like session partners or whatever, there was like 10 of us or something, and not one of us would have been able to do that at all.
That's crazy to hear, right? It's like, and it's like, I know you enough to know that you're not fucking bullshitting. You're not a fucking asshole. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not who you are. So it's like,
I mean, it didn't
it's
come.
Amazing, dude.
I mean, the
really
thing is it's not like I was able to just make that decision one day where it's like, you know what, I'm done. It didn't come with. It came with a lot of rock bottoms, and it came with me trying to quit every day when I woke up for a long time, and failing, and I'd have like a week of sobriety, and I'd fail, and the love of my life would leave me, and I would maybe lose this job, or I hit my head on the ground, and I almost die, and wake up 4 days later, and I go back to drinking like a week and a half later, because when I started drinking, the brain fog was gone. So I didn't feel like I was inhibited.
Let's talk about that a little bit, because you did have a serious, I mean, you had a TBI.
Yeah.
You had a traumatic brain injury, which, I mean, there's a lot, I mean, we're not all best fucking friends. We don't hang out with each other all the time. Me and this guy do all the time. Fuck this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he hates me. I hate him. We're best
Okay.
friends. Okay. But, I mean, there's a portion of time where, I mean, there's like a few years where I would see you maybe once or twice, 3 times a year, you and your lady out or and about and whatnot. And then, obviously, you know, we had kids, so we disappear from being out. And there's a point where you get injured. And I saw you after the injury. I remember seeing you at, I think it was the Stick, when T-Bird had his like classic skate part premiering there. And I was talking to you, and you were like, I remember hearing about that, and I was like, man, well, I hope you take care because we need you. And like, you were not very nice to me. You were pretty annoyed. You're like, yeah, I fucking know. Like, you had obviously...
I don't even remember that, to be honest.
You'd obviously been told the same thing that I had told you, like, hey, man, take care of yourself. You know, like, you're like, yeah, I fucking know.
Did I was like, really? Man, yeah,
and I was like, oh, shit. Well, it's not your characteristic at all.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, damn.
I mean, I don't remember like
he
that
might
year,
have heard that a little bit in the last couple of days. Damn.
Yeah.
Like, I could tell that you were annoyed by it. It wasn't something that you were annoyed by me. You were annoyed by what I said. But I never even asked what happened. So what happened with the TBI?
I mean, it was just me and my lady at the time. We'd gotten into a big argument, and she had like a company party in Truckee or something, and I think it was like the owner of the bar was like, no significant others allowed or some shit. And I think I was just being irrational and upset about it, and we got into a fight or an argument, and of course there's copious amounts of alcohol involved. And I just remember this feeling that we got in this argument, and I was just drinking so much. And I just remember, like, I'm going to go out. I got my skateboard. I'm going to go out, and I'm either going to fall skateboarding or I'm going to get in a fight. You know what I mean? Like,
And you're in Truckee and you brought your skateboard?
No, I didn't go. That was the whole thing. It's like I wasn't allowed to go. So, like, I stayed back, and I just got tanked. You know what I mean?
Okay. So
So I had taken my skateboard out, and anybody that skateboards knows that, there's kind of that masochistic, like, when you fall, like, it doesn't always... sometimes it's a release. You know what I mean? Like you slam and you're having a tough day, and it's almost meditative.
Like people that like to fight, you understand. If you know, you know.
I needed the pain. In some aspect, I needed the pain, and I was like a block and a half away from my mom's house, gratefully, and I had slipped out. I feel like I did an ollie or something stupid. It was like nothing.
You don't remember really what happened technically?
I remember like where I was. I was like right next to the VA hospital, like a block and a half from my mom's.
So you weren't like bombing a hill or anything?
No, I was on the sidewalk. I feel like I did an ollie. Like it was like nothing. And I looped out and I hit my head. And I just remember rubbing the back of my head, looking at it. Like, that'll do. And I just remember that was like the only thought I had. And I'm like, I should probably go to my mom's, and
with skateboarding though, skateboarders are tough. There's times where you're like, you just wrap your fucking shit around your head or around your fucking chin and let it heal.
Yeah.
Well, and also being that drunk, you can't
exactly.
Yeah.
And I mean, him being a fucking like skateboarder through and through, as much as he is a rapper, maybe even more skateboarder.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's like, shit happens.
It was literally that. It was that'll do. And then I go to my mom's house, and like I hadn't actually slept there in few years. It'd been a long time since I'd actually stayed there. I went, my mom was at home. I go in my old room and like just drunkenly, sloppily, like get everything off the bed, and I fall asleep. And my mom comes home and she looks in and she sees blood everywhere, and she sees me asleep, and she's like, "Oh, must have had a bloody nose," because I had a bunch of bloody noses growing up, and that's what she thought. And it's taken a long time to get over the resentment for that, because I don't know how she could look in there, honestly, and see that.
And be like, well, shit.
Yeah, and so she left.
Yeah.
She left. And then she came back, and when she came back, I was foaming out the mouth, and I was seizing. And
Jesus
at that point
Christ,
in time,
man.
I had, gone to the emergency room, and that is when, I guess they had tested my blood alcohol. It was like 12 hours later, and I was still over 0.3. So I was definitely I was at the very, 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 very high end of that. And yeah, that was pretty much that. Woke up 4 days later and
In the hospital?
and literally,
So you were in a coma for 4 days?
they never even used the word coma, but it was 4 days. I remember what day is it? And they're like, no, it's this day. I'm like, it's no way it's this day. Like, it's this day.
Well, I imagine they probably had you on some pretty heavy medication. too.
Maybe like a medically induced coma or whatever.
Yeah,
it
they're
was.
like, here's some Oxycontin for you.
Yeah, when I actually came to, I would just like, I want to smoke weed. I want to smoke weed. I want to get out of here. I want to smoke weed. I want to smoke weed. I want to smoke weed. And that was like the only thing I could say. And they're like, all right, you can go. And like the girl I was dating at the time, she was so mad. She's like, they let you leave? Like, how did they let you leave? And I just left, and I went home and I smoked weed. You know what I mean? Like, props to that industry of medical professionals that have to deal with stupid assholes like me. And, at that point in time.
Yeah, I mean, it's true. You were probably pretty fucking nice compared to some of the shit they have to deal with.
I don't like hospitals. I don't know.
Well,
I can't say that for sure. But
And I mean, so with you being sober for 15 months, are you 100% sober? You're not California sober where you smoke weed?
So this journey has been pretty crazy. Like, it was the time before this that I quit smoking weed. I just started doing blow instead. So I did like a half gram of blow a day.
That's expensive.
It was, and I
really expensive,
had like a
bro.
good friend who was able to make it economically feasible for me, which is fair.
Which is also terrible because you're like,
Thanks,
why? Like, damn it. Thank you, but fuck you.
Great guy, anyways.
Yes.
But yeah. So when I decided to get sober this time, it was very much California sober. I went to a celebrity rehab facility, sort of. It was like my manager at the time. his sister and her boyfriend bought this like mansion basically off Mount Rose Highway. They were converting into a rehab facility. It was not one yet. I wasn't in a rehab. Really, it was a sober living space with accountability. Is really what it was. And they had like an NBA regulation sized basketball court and a bowling alley.
I was gonna say when you slept in the bowling alley.
Yeah,
that's where it was.
Okay. So my manager, he's like, I'm gonna be staying here for about a month, and he was dealing with I don't remember what it's like a respiratory thing where he was basically afraid he was going to stop breathing in his sleep.
Okay.
So he had asked me if I'd stay up there with him for a few nights. And I'm like, yeah, for sure. And then he had offered to basically drive me to and from for that month. So I stayed out there for a month. And him and I had like $100 bet also behind that. So like the last person, also with my friend Colton, the last person to stay sober would get this pot of money. Obviously, it wasn't about the money. You know, it was just kind of like a way to get it going.
It's a little extra drive behind it.
Exactly, yeah. So I was very much California sober. And at that point in time, like, I mean, people that knew me knew that I was addicted to just about everything I touched. Like, everything I did, you know.
You're a party animal, man.
And even beyond that, like, everything I do, I just go full for, you know. So throughout that time, so that was like me. So I stopped blow and drinking at the same time. And then I still smoked cigarettes. I did Zyn. I had vapes. You know what I mean? I smoked weed. And throughout this last 15 months, I've cut out all those things. So like I went from, first I cut out cigarettes, then I cut out vaping. So hard. One of the hardest things.
I could
just do it in bed, you know?
It's vaping so convenient.
And then I used Zyn to get rid of the nicotine. And then I still had like the pen in my pocket, which I was using, kind of get me through that. And I quit smoking weed now. It's about 3 weeks ago or so. So I'm finally completely, totally sober. And like, I've realized, man, like most of my life I've just run away from feelings. I've run away from a lot. I've run away from myself. You know what I mean? And
it helps you not think about or deal with shit that you should be processing.
It's easy to do, and it's very normalized.
Day to day or old shit, you know.
I mean, I'm grateful that like my sobriety.
I'm not sober, obviously.
I mean, but you know, the thing is if you need to be, you will be in time, and like now more than ever, it's less sobriety is less stigmatized. You know what I mean? It's like,
absolutely.
It used to be like, oh, so why are you sober?
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
You have an issue? No, it's like it's dope. Dude, why would you not want to be healthier?
Yeah,
I mean, like, it got to the point
if
in my life
you're
where
not an asshole about it, where you're like, well, you should be sober. If you're not one of those dudes who are like religious about it and weird and like push it on people,
and that's what it is. It's like those people. It's like the same with like vegans, right?
Being
like,
sober,
you could be
you're
vegan,
healthier
but
than everybody. You don't smoke anything. You don't take in any fucking bullshit. Like you fucking go to bed when you should. You wake up feeling fine. Like. I'm jealous.
I'm not there yet, honestly.
I've been sober for 3 years, and I still don't go to bed when I'm supposed to. So,
well, video games will do that.
I'm just a night owl, man. The chemicals in my brain, you know.
It's true, yeah. But yeah, that's so now. Yeah, I guess now I am totally sober and like actually like staring myself in the face, and like that's a big part of why I didn't accomplish a lot of things. It's like it got to a point with everything. It's like I stopped. I wanted to put myself first. I choose skateboarding. I choose rap. I choose my friends. I choose my family. You know what I mean? Like it got to the point where I had to cut those things out if I really truly wanted to.
You had to choose
operate at the
things,
level at which I want to operate. I want to be the best at everything I do. Not better than you, the best me, the best version of me, better than me. Yeah. And I know that, and like knowing that I can be, and watching myself for years. Make this excuse like, yeah, man, if I just wasn't so high, like I wouldn't have blown that opportunity. Or like when years ago, like Sean D brought me out to the Minogue 8 Stair, I led the whole Baker team to the Minogue 8 Stair. And I got there and I was so fucking drunk. I drove drunk out there, Minogue 8 Stair. Brian Herman sitting there smoking a joint. I thought it was a cigarette. I asked him if I could hit it. I hit it. I get the spins. I throw up in a bush. I eat shit doing a flat ground trick. I fall asleep in my car. And that was when I was like 19 years old. I was the best version.
And as a skateboarder, you know what a fucking L that is.
Damn. I just got back from a Red Bull Invitational in Southern California. I was the best skateboarder that I'd ever been.
I was gonna say, anybody that knows him and I skate with him, it's weird because I have these two different fucking worlds. I have my hip hop, and I talk about it all the time. He's like, whatever. I have my hip hop friends and world and this whole thing that I do. Then I also have my skateboard world. all my friends, and they slowly started combining. Like fucking my skateboard friends would come to the shows, or I'd see them there without inviting them, and I was like, oh, this is the best thing ever. My life is working. So when you're able to do shit like that, it's like, I don't know. This guy he made up a trick. What's the name of it?
So I called it the Monopoly flip, right? So it's kind of a trip. So back in the day, I learned it. It's basically like a frontside pressure flip, back flip Casper. I saw this
If
guy.
you skateboard, you know what he means.
I mean, my buddy actually just sent me like about a month ago. This dude did it, right? And he did it super sick. It was like awesome. And people everybody's trying to name it, right? And someone's like, it's an anti-Casper. I'm like, that's probably a pretty good name.
Yeah,
also,
yeah.
somebody, my buddy back in the day, he had actually learned it backside, which I just learned actually just recently, which is kind of funny. But it was a trick that dude did in Battle of the Barracks. It was the only time that there was ever a rematch due to a trick, because he was like, it's like a shitty shove it, because the way that he did it, and he didn't explain it properly.
I know what you're talking about. Yep.
But yeah, I actually just saw yesterday or the day before, somebody did that same trick that I made up back in the day. I made it up. I showed Tony Hawk at the game event that was at Reno Sparks Convention Center when I was 16 or something. So it was 20 years ago. But I saw a dude do it with an underflip, or a late flip afterwards. It was a late front foot flip. Yeah.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
So anybody's like, oh yeah, I know he raps. He skates so fucking good. There's times where he's like, I haven't skated in 3 years, and then we skate together, and he's just doing hard ass tricks switch. He'll do a switch 180 manual, big spin out, or
back 180.
Yeah. If you fucking skate, you know what I'm saying. It's fucking ridiculous. It's I skateboard all the time. He knows I'm fucking always skating. He'll go through the plaza. I'm fucking there. Just all doing my basic ass shit. I can skateboard. I'm not shitty. I can skateboard. I can hang out and do some shit. Too. But he's good at skateboarding. There's different levels of skateboarding, and he's there's oh, you can skateboard, and there's oh, you're good at skateboarding. It's oh, damn, you kill it, and there's oh, that he's good. He's fucking good, dude. He is. No, he's good. As well as he raps, he skates. It's very impressive. It is, and it's very unique too. It's just like he raps.
Yeah,
it's not some basic old shit. You know what I'm saying?
I feel I have a weird style of just about everything I do. I feel
it's so unique, and it stands out, and it's dope. It is 100%. I've never even thought about that till right now, but your skateboarding style translates to the way you rap too. It's very you. It's not some normal. You're not just over there doing a crooked grind. You know what I'm saying? He'll do a backside nose grind 360, shove it out, on some weird, crazy shit. You're like, oh, hey, what's up, Rodney Mullen?
I would love to meet that guy for sure. Conversation.
Yeah, you're like, oh, Dad? Dad? But enough about that. I want to talk a little bit about your TikTok stuff, because us being, older gents, the new social media is
confusing and scary.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about you, Mr. MC Friend, but I avoided TikTok for 2 years because I was like, oh, it's for young teens who want to do dances.
Yeah, my ex had got me into it, actually. And I hated it. I fucking hated it. Just because I was just trying to get her attention all the time, and she just...
I know that game.
Yeah. Scrolling. And I'm like, Willow, hello. Earth to you. And of course I have that, insecurity from my friends saying oh, it's your voice. You know what I mean? So I'm more sensitive to it than I should be. So it's all TikTok's fault. You know what I mean?
God damn it.
100%.
I'll make them hear me now.
Yeah. And then I think she introduced me to, it was the open verse type thing where it was because I've always been
the open verse or duets.
Looking to source beats and having a hard time doing that one reason or another, whether it be investing purposes or finding the right one or whatnot. And then it was that also kind of and my introduction to Harry Mack. I think both of those things.
Is that the freestyle dude?
Yeah.
The best
freestyler dude.
The best freestyler on planet Earth that has existed ever.
Yeah, and also he's
I won't dispute it.
Freestyles
I've seen a video
whole songs,
that's about
dude.
it. Yeah.
I've seen all the videos.
When we're done, we'll watch some shit when we're done.
Omegle Bar's 18.
The best, dude. He's the only reason that I want to get Omegle, so I can fucking find him and have him freestyle to me in real time.
I downloaded it. I tried to download it. Yeah,
dude, is that the one where you just meet random people?
Yeah, it's the chat room.
You get to see 900 dicks before you see a normal person.
Nice.
Think about how many dicks Harry Mack's seen.
Dude, he's seen so many Harry Macks.
A lot of Harry dicks.
Anyways, So when you got into TikTok, you're like, okay, source some beats. I like to do that. That's the reason that I like when I found out, I was like, oh shit, I can just like rap over these beats that these guys make. That's tight. That's cool. But I mean, so how did your TikTok journey start? Because mine was like, oh, I'm gonna do it, and I was like, oh, this is like takes a lot of time. I'm not gonna do it that much, and then I just like stopped doing it for a period of time, and then I got back into it, and I'm semi-consistent because you either are consistent or you're not, and it works for you or it doesn't. There's a weird fucking thing with it, and recently it's been working for you.
A little bit, yeah. It's just like anything, right? I'm doing it for myself. And that's the bottom line. Like I've heard, like you have to like to work your way into the algorithm. You got to post every single day or like 3 times a week or whatever. And like I was trying to do that for a minute. I know we were both trying to do that, and I didn't really see a huge change in my audience. I didn't, So I got back to like I have like my little planner. I'm like I'll try to write 3 times a week. I try to accomplish 3 verses a week, whether or not that's 1 verse, whether or not it's a half a verse, and when it comes up. I'll post it, and that's pretty much it. And I just do it for me. And then part of like investing in yourself. And there's like I boosted a few of the videos, and they caught some decent traction. And that's kind of it's given me a lot of
boosting
strength.
them. Break it down a little bit for some of these folks who might not know.
Just promoting your video, right? So like on TikTok, you buy these coins, and then with coins you use those to buy like you like whether or not you're out for more views, more followers, or more likes. For me, it'd be more followers. I'm looking to find my audience. I'm looking to find my people. You know what I mean? The people that aren't telling me to use smaller words or that are embracing my positivity or my transparency, not the people that are trying to change me or be like, yo, but you should try it like this. Like, nah, like I'm going to try it like this, the way that I do it, because I'm not trying to do this for you.
Yeah. You're not rapping.
Yeah.
Guy, I am.
Exactly. Yeah. So for me, it was beautiful because I had all of these people, and like now where I'm at with it is like I've gotten kind of an audience, so people reach out to me like, hey, I just dropped this new open verse challenge or this new duet, like will you please do it? Absolutely, because if anybody asks me, if anybody wants me to be on their team, I'm there for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, to have someone that's, I mean, it's not, mind you, it's not like local artists that he's friends with. Like, hey, man, I just made this beat and put it on TikTok. These are people that like might live in North Carolina that you've never met, but they've seen your videos, and they're like, oh, shit, your shit's tight. Hey, check this out.
This guy, Alistair,
That's
in Florida.
That's pretty fucking dope.
This guy, Alistair, in Florida, he had reached out to me. He's like, yo, hop on this thing like I did. Unfortunately, I really wanted to boost that one, but like the intellectual property rights of music, I don't know. That's a whole new world, but it's not, his wasn't a commercial sound at that point. Yeah. For one, even though the beat was, when he had rapped and sung on it, it wasn't then. So like I couldn't boost it, which is unfortunate. But at the same time, it's not necessarily why I'm doing it.
TikTok's a bitch like that because they'll copyright your own song. I'm like, hey guy, hey TikTok, what I'm posting, the music that's in it is my music that I made.
It's China's now.
Fucking, why are you copyrighting me? Like, dude, there's so many dumb workarounds you have to find and shit. It's a pain in the ass.
Well, number one. So the hard work's paid off. Could we talk about what we were texting about the other day, or is that something that you can't talk about?
I'll talk about anything.
The deal?
Your promo company.
Oh, yeah. So, I mean,
what happened with that?
Yeah.
That was, I mean...
Let's talk about it.
Whether or not, like, I'm not sure totally the legitimacy of this whole scenario. Basically, somebody saw one of my videos. They had 100,000 followers. They're like, we want to promote, your video on our page. So I thought about the same way. I'm like, all right, I'm investing in myself. It was cheap enough. I think it was like $60. They're like, well, we'll put you at the top of our page. We'll blast you on our story, any, outlets or whatever that you have. And then honestly, like whether or not, like, I'm not sure totally. I got a lot of followers from it. I got a lot of likes from it. Some of the followers dropped off, which is, I feel like, probably good. I mean, I don't really know. But I still like have noticed an uptick in my followers, so there is a level of legitimacy from it. It did seem moderately, maybe a little bit scammy.
So,
but I definitely got hit up by like a million different pages after that, which is kind of
not necessarily like a deal. Then, like, no con, it was more a transaction.
Yeah. It was me promoting myself, like trying to just invest in this whole thing that I'm doing, and I feel like it was somewhere between like legitimate and not. But at the same time, like the one thing that was very legitimate was how I felt, that feeling I had when I got like 400 followers in like a super short period of time. And like my likes went from 50 to 300, like on these videos that like I prize. And they're not just doing these videos down up here. They're like, finding videos that are down below, which obviously shows legitimacy as well.
Yeah. They're searching through your stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, question for you. What do you feel is a better value? You investing in boosting videos that you think are good, or investing in the promo company? What do you think is more beneficial for you and what you do?
So I feel like they both have value. I think I took a little bit of a step back from kind of both for a minute, because I want to invest more in getting actual music out, and like I've always kind of struggled with like we were talking about how people have this vision, right? Like right when they hear this beat, they have a vision. I definitely look for beats that write themselves. You know what I mean? Like it's like this sets a tone and then you just go with it. So I'm like figuring out now ways to create my music and find my niche. And like the fact that like since I've stopped smoking weed, I've like made a lot of progress in that. Like talking to DJ Elzo, like making talks of like, he's going to be on stage with me when I do stuff next time. And like, I want to have him involved in my creativity process. And like, maybe I don't even make conventional songs. You know what I mean? Like, cause like I never set out to be this traditional rapper anyways. Maybe he's up there DJing and maybe we have a set together where like I come in and I do my raps, and maybe we put out an album together that's just this something different, something new. You know what I mean? I've always felt like it has to be done this certain way. And I think that kind of hindered me in a lot of ways. And I think now,
you
figuring
can
out
do
it
whatever
doesn't,
the fuck you want.
I could just do whatever I want.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Traditional is definitely dead. Like three verses and two hooks is, for the most part, gone by the wayside a lot of the times, I feel like.
Dude. I or Glass Tongue haven't done a fucking traditional style song in so long.
Yeah.
We have bridges and like there's so much shit you can do.
Yeah.
Like
do whatever you want.
Yeah. And that's the thing is, if you're looking for your followers, when you make the music the way you want to make it, the people that like that will follow it.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So just do you 100%. Like, have you guys seen that? I'm sure you guys have seen it. That Rick Rubin fucking saying that's been going around where he's like, make music for the listener. You are the listener. So make music for the listener that's you.
Yep.
And then people like you will listen to it.
It's true.
100%. Don't worry about what other people are going to think about it, how it's going to be perceived by anybody. Do you like it? Do you like the way it sounds? Would it be something you listen to? That's the only thing that fucking matters.
That's stoicism, because that's what's in your control.
And that it's so true. It's like letting go. It's the hardest thing to do, too.
Well,
it's really hard to do.
And
because you don't know if it's good or not if you're not judging it. You know what I'm saying? But it's like,
in one sense, like I feel like we all feel like we at this table, at least, like we all have good music taste, right? And then so I definitely take that into it. And when I do make a song, I'm like, is this something that I would like, that I would put? If like if you made this song, would I still like it? Or am I just liking it because it's mine?
true.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So I try to always look at that critically. Like, is this something that if it weren't me doing it, I would like and listen to?
I struggle with that. And recently I've been like, I mean, as of like last night and the night before, writing a verse for Glass Tongue where I haven't worked on a verse this long in a very long time. Mm-hmm. And it's not that it's like this super complex, crazy thing, but it's that I was not satisfied with it.
Yeah.
I don't want to just be like, oh, well, okay, it's done. And then record it and put it out. And then every time I hear it, me be like, ugh.
Exactly.
I
right?
want to, when I listen to it, I want to like it.
Exactly.
When I listen to it, I'm like, that's dope. I like that I did that. And it took me a long fucking time to figure that out.
So hard.
And it is. And sometimes it's like, it's not, the first thing that you write is not what it should be.
No,
the last two
rarely
the
ever,
last
right?
two songs that I've written for Glass Tongue, the first verses that I've written are 100% completely scrapped, and I've rewritten them, which is not something I used to do. I used to be like, oh, that's what it is. No. I spent fucking 3 days writing 4 bars.
Mm-hmm.
It was ridiculous, and I felt stupid for a minute, and I was like, but when I got it done, I was like, I'm so fucking happy with it.
A lot, yeah.
God damn it, thank you. Like, I like, there was a relief.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to sleep better tonight.
I'm sure you guys probably do the same thing, too. Like, a lot of the times I'll write a verse, but then I'm like, I don't like half of it, and then so I'll keep, like, 4 4 bars maybe, and then rewrite a bunch, and then
Yeah.
just like it's just like anything in fucking school. When you have to write a paper, you have to write the rough draft first.
Absolutely.
Keep what is good and fucking throw the rest away, right?
Nah, that's how I feel. But I mean, everybody's different, you know.
I mean,
Some
I just
people-
did this verse
Okay.
the other day where it was like the end of my
Okay.
verse.
Okay.
Like I didn't even like it. I liked the writing. Like I love the writing. Like this guy had not challenged me, but like asked me to jump on his open verse challenge. It was about a flower that's just waiting to see the sun, right? And I'm actually kind of writing the song called Sun God. It's like a Bozzy beat. Like I actually did a
Shout
painting
out
with
Bozzy.
it.
Every
Shout out
time.
Bozzy. Yeah, I actually did a painting with it and like gifted it to my therapist. This whole thing, and working on that, I was like, I could just plug one of those in. I'm like, no, and I did a new verse, whatever, to it, and it was 10 bars. Weird,
Dude,
what
I
mean?
hate when
Very
they do
weird.
that.
Damn it.
Can we say here before you go on? Hey, producers on TikTok, learn how to count bars. Make it 8 or make it 16. Stop fucking.
Or 4 or 12.
Yeah,
even like.
I mean, 10 bars.
10.
Dude,
Well,
there's
there
no
was one that was
punch.
11 bars.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, guy.
I don't think rappers nowadays even know how to count bars. The younger generation,
Dude, I've noticed there's some producers that
don't
don't.
know how to count bars.
Like,
yeah.
I know, that I've met, and I'm like, hey, man, this verse is 21 bars. Why?
Why?
Well, the end of your verse, you want to be punched. It's like the end of your skate video. It's the hammer. You want to drop the hammer at the end of it, and you can't drop a hammer at the end of 10 bars. So, like, the end of it, like, what I had written, like, because I was using all these puns with, like, flower and, petals and stemming from stuff, and, like, need my chlorophyll, the photosynthesis or some whatever it was, like, play on words type thing. And I'm like, that doesn't even sound good. Run it. Like, because at the end of the day, it's for me. And, like, I was proud.
Yeah.
I was proud of, like, my
Absolutely.
my words or whatnot. The
Well,
delivery seemed weird.
And
but
like you said, you're limited right there with 10 bars too,
So
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah.
it was weird.
So weird.
Because anybody who doesn't know, you usually do things in 4s. So it's like 10, you can't, what are you supposed to do with 10? You got 2 4-bar sections and
Yeah.
then 2 bars left
Yeah,
over,
yeah. You're on some
yeah.
random shit there.
It's hard to do that, you know?
Yeah. What, are you going to repeat your last 2 bars twice?
Yeah,
Whatever.
no. So,
But are you working on music right now? Are you currently like recording any songs? Are you working on like? I know we talked about you want to maybe do a project.
I want a legacy. You know what I mean? That's what it is. It's like I've done a lot of things for a long time. Like skateboarding, I have like one video part. Most of my best tricks I've done not filmed or lost footage. Like a lot of the songs that I'd made, like because I'd gone about it the way I did, like with the exposure, like I was getting booked for these shows like, Merce or Cage or POS or Afro Man or whatever it is. And I don't have any music you could find. Where can I listen to your stuff? Come to one of my shows. You know what I mean? Which was cool until now. It's like, let me hear your stuff. And I'm like, I don't really have it, So it's kind of about a legacy. So I am working at it and recording and I feel like I got a microphone and I got everything at my house to start doing it at my house. At the end of the day,
You can record here if you want.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I'd actually given, Trash Hardy, I'd given him $100 like a year when I still drink. Like at the bar when I'm like, here, take this. He's like, don't give this to me. I'm like, take it, dude. It's incentive for me. So I actually saw him the other day and I'm like, so when are we gonna record? So like I've found myself, I'm getting to it, I'm learning, you know what I mean? So that's the goal very much.
Sorry, it was just buzzing the mics.
Yeah, I went on Do Not Disturb. It was on Do Not Disturb.
You're
See,
all
this
good.
is when people do not respect your time and space.
Just blowing you up.
You're like the only person that I know that uses those things. There's times where I've like texted you and it's like, Trevor is on Do Not Disturb or whatever. I'm like, okay, like,
Yeah, he's classy.
yeah.
It's because
And everything he does.
It's
what
like
I'm
that's-
doing here, I'm giving you guys my time. I
we
respect
respect
your
that.
time.
Yeah.
And
We
your
respect
space.
it.
So this was on Do Not Disturb. What happens when you go on Do Not Disturb? People can call you twice to get through it.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
motherfuckers.
They know that.
I've had a conversation with this individual 3 times in the past week about respecting my time and my
Habitual
space.
line stepper.
Yeet. Jesus. So I'm just going to turn off
habitual
my
line stepper.
phone. My goodness.
Oh shit.
So,
So I'm just
there,
going to turn this off.
there has been some talks for 5 years or so when we drank a lot. Nothing ever came to fruition of a Mc Friend Melancholy project, which has recently been talked about again. So
I have hope.
yeah.
Well, hey, I hope so too. I mean, obviously, I know writing takes time, but you guys could do it. I have faith in you.
I think we have a solid connection as far as that goes.
Oh, yeah.
Like our
Yeah.
styles and
Oh.
like complement.
Absolutely. I mean, obviously, we're gonna end this episode with a song off of your EP that's coming out at the end of the month.
Yeah.
Featuring MC Friend.
Yeah.
So the folks listening will get a little sample of that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we'll probably get some feedback like, hey, let's get 5 more of those songs, which is pretty dope.
It's a banger.
Yeah.
I remember when I sent that to you and you sent it back, and like you come right in on the hook with proclivity and blah, and I was like, God damn it, Trevor! Like, but I'm never like stop using big words. I'm just
with
like,
legs.
you're making me look stupid over here, dude.
Well, it's like sometimes I feel like hip hop has taught me a lot in the realm of vocabulary as well, because when I'm like, damn, this word seems like it fit well. I'm like, I don't even know what that word means, and then I look it up. I'm like, that's fucking perfect. You know what I mean? It's like I knew it was perfect. And
Yeah.
All right. Well, here in a second, after this break, we'll go ahead and hop into the review, huh?
Yep.
I'm pretty hyped on it.
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, we'll be back in a second. All right, we're going to hop in the review now. I'm pretty stoked on this review, actually.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Because
So
you
sick.
changed it originally.
I did. I had just woken up too. I had to jump to conclusions pretty quick. I'm a huge fan of Joyner Lucas, which is where I started. Also, he like celebrates his sobriety and he talks about that a lot. And
Yeah.
take it away from that whole stigma of like, what's wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
type thing.
absolutely. Yeah, you sent us Joyner Lucas, and then he sent me Cal Scrooby, and I was like, well, we've done Cal Scrooby
Couple times
on
now.
Sober and then the
multiple
drug
different.
addict.
Yeah, dude. Fucking love that guy. Dude,
Great.
one of my favorite new age rappers.
No, he's great.
Yeah, but then you're like, but I was also thinking about doing, this one, and I was like, okay, whatever you want to do. And then like, I think it was like a couple hours later, you're like, can I do this?
Yeah,
Or it might have been the next day, maybe.
No,
You're like,
it was hours later, and the thing is like I almost immediately wanted to change it to this because it's like I listened to it because the album's like 30 minutes long or so, and the outro completely and totally sold me. And the second I heard the outro, I'm like, I want to do that, but then I'm like, fuck, I'm gonna be annoying, and I didn't want to be annoying.
no,
so
that's what you're always like. I'm not trying to like be annoying or anything, but hey, can we do this instead? And as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh fuck yeah, I love this dude. Anybody who doesn't know this guy definitely should. I mean,
So-
I found him recently.
So, all right. So here's the thing, right? Is that you put me onto him way back when we were drinking, and he had like 2 or 3 songs out.
Yeah.
And then I put him onto you shortly thereafter. Again, a lot of alcohol involved in a lot of these musical transactions. So I showed you Calabasas like fucking 5-6 years ago or something.
I don't even
like
know that song.
Yeah.
The first song that I remember, which I found a few months ago, is Woodchuck.
Okay.
that's probably my favorite.
I
one.
bet you.
Darn,
After this, we could check
Slaps,
out.
dude.
After this, we could check out Calabasas, and I bet you will ring a bell.
But we're talking about Sparkmaster tape.
Yes,
Sparkmaster.
Dude,
Yeah.
the amount that he uses chop and screw on all of his shit, I love it, dude. He does it in a way that no one else does, dude.
Yeah. Because he's just chopping his voice. He's not. The beat's not slowed down.
No, he is
and he's
the
still killing
shit,
it.
dude. Half the time I'm like, I don't even remember what this guy sounds like. I don't even know what he really sounds like.
and no one knows what he looks like. There's a mystery part of that too.
Well,
Like,
I
checks the
Googled him, and I'm like,
boxes.
that looks... I'm pretty sure that's a picture of young Jeezy. Like, that's not him. And then every video he's wearing a mask and shit.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, no, dude, he is the dopest.
It's like the Banksy of hip hop almost.
He is.
So I was thinking about it today, right? But I guess before we just jump in to start
Yeah.
talking about how much we all loved it,
Yeah,
because
in
we
his
obviously all did.
Yes.
Like, I was thinking about it, and I was like, he reminds me a lot of Bun B in the way of like, it is just not like voice or like technical skill or anything, but just like it is just dripping in style. Like there's
dude.
just style out the fucking ass,
dude.
But
Paper Platoon. I mean, I'm trying to fucking be a part of it.
the it's
Seriously.
similar to with Bun B. It's like it's just dripping with style, but the bars never lack at all. This has always been the case with Bun B. It's just so much fucking style.
Pressure
with
Girl Lane side with their legs open, call it
Crocodile.
Crocodile.
No, God, dude,
damn it.
The
But
Pocket
then-
Dial, that's like my favorite track on that album. I'm
But
pretty sure.
then I was like, this dude has a real potential to be the Doom of his generation.
Dude, I was thinking that same exact thing today. I was like, this guy is like Doom. Like, he's so mysterious. I know
100%.
nothing about him. I went on his Wikipedia. I was like searching all types of shit, and I'm like, where the fuck is he from?
And just
he said he crossed international borders just to follow these dreams. So
Is he British?
Canada?
Well, no. So he also
Canada.
also had that bar in there where he's like, he's like, I'm coming from the lands of the shh. And those dudes are from Texas.
Dude, okay, and he's chopping
screwed. So
I
that's why I was
thought
thinking
he was
Texas.
Southern music.
Yeah.
I was like, maybe Atlanta pushing it, maybe.
Yeah.
But
Now
he's,
international borders though, it's got me thinking. I really don't know.
dude, and the line, come on, that's so recent.
And it's like,
How, dude? That's
he made that dope right there.
Dude.
Because before then, I'm like, I'm so fucking tired of hearing.
And then
Yeah.
and then that shit's been a meme for like months, and now like, dude, that's so recent.
But
How
not
did
only
he
that,
do
but
in the
so
album.
completely hides himself, which is like almost impossible to do these days,
I don't
right?
get
So
And
hides
Did
himself.
you read his bio? He's like, in a world of being famous, he's a popular unknown person.
Yeah.
Like nobody knows who he is, but
Yeah.
he's so popuar.
But like,
Fucking crazy.
has his own style, is a complete master.
MC
of
Friend
it.
gave us the real Batman.
Yeah. He has his own style. He's a complete master of it. That what he does, he's a complete fucking master of it. And like, there's just so many. Modern day Doom.
And I mean, like, he was set to go on tour with Run the Jewels, and I know that he had to back out of it. And that was like when Run the Jewels, like the height of like their popularity, really. And he backed out of that, because I think it was maybe like family troubles or something. He had some stuff he had to handle, and that to me, like, man, we all have choices
crazy.
in life, and
But-
he made the choice, the right choice. You had to be there for his
That's how
family, be there
serious
for
that is,
people.
because anybody that makes music knows that
Run the Jewels is doing arena tours.
opportunities like that for someone who's an indie artist come far and few between.
Mm-hmm.
But at the stature he is and the music he makes, I feel like those opportunities are
Coming. If they're not,
they're
there yet.
probably plentiful. Dude, he is something else. He's so different, and I love him so. He's like the most gangster dude I listened to recently. He's thuggy with it.
I can't stop listening.
And he's so good, dude. Like, and everything about him is mysterious. Who makes his beats? Oh, it's Paper Platoon, which is like a group of like people who make videos. And well, who the fuck makes his beats though?
Yeah.
It's
Even
dude,
on
nobody
the top,
knows anything about him.
Did you look at the album cover too? On the top of it, Paper Platoon, no ghostwriters, no ghost producers.
Dude, and it's like, does he do it all?
Yeah.
Or does he actually have a team?
Is Paper Platoon
Because I'm trying to buy some beats.
multiple people, or is it just him?
That's I don't know.
See?
I
much
love
mystery.
it, dude.
So-
and I never looked into him at all until
Yeah.
you gave this, and I was like, oh yeah, I do like this dude. He's fucking dope. Oh, he has a new album out. Okay, and then now
Because
anybody that listens to this knows when I do a deep dive and I start looking at videos and Wikipedias and shit, I really really like the artist because I want to know who the fuck they are.
Yeah.
I want to know everything about him.
I would always
And
check.
I don't know who this guy is, and it bothers me.
I would always check back because when you showed them to me, however many years ago, it was Calabasas and then like one or two other songs I can't remember off the top of my head right now. And then I would check back, and nothing new
They
was
were all
ever
singles.
coming out. They were all singles, so I had no idea this even happened. And you sent it, I was like, "Fuck yes, finally!"
Well, apparently
dude.
he's dropped 5 mixtapes
I need
from
to-
2012 until now.
Okay, I need to get on.
I
that
read
then.
the whole thing about this guy earlier today. I was like, this guy is amazing. I
Yeah.
fucking like him a lot. And like he disappeared for a few years.
Yeah.
And then he, like off Twitter, off everything, just nothing, ghost for like 3 years.
Yeah.
And then he just posted his thing is Swoop, SWOUP.
Okay.
And he just posted on Twitter #Swoop after like 3 years. And then the week later, he posted a video for Livin' Lavish.
Okay.
And it's this, I don't know if you guys have seen the
I
video,
didn't
but
see
it's
the
the
video.
most disturbing and craziest weird fucking video I've seen. It's so weird.
Okay.
And it's like, it's fucking weird, dude.
I can't wait.
We're gonna have to
Dude.
peep it. Yeah.
It's crazy and artistic and not, when you listen to his music, like, he's a different mind.
He is him.
Dude, he's so
He is
different.
him.
He's artistic and different, and like he knows exactly what he's doing because he disappeared. Then he posted that, and then a week later posted this video, and then posted this album after that, and it just fucking
Just such doom shit, dude.
yeah.
That's such doom shit right there.
He's culting it. Dude.
Yeah.
he's a cult. He's starting a cult, and I'm fucking.
I'll follow.
I'm down.
Yeah,
I'm
follow
in
me.
with it, dude.
I have this
so down.
I have this very specific memory. Me and you, just me and Trevor, for anybody listening, just so fucking drunk. Like we were out all over downtown, all fucking night. We end up in Midtown. Not Midtown. We end up at Noble Pie downtown because you had the hookup there. So you might have still been working there at the time.
got the
I can't
hookup
remember.
everywhere, dude.
Yeah, but I think he was still working there at the time. I can't remember or not. But we go there. We just start drinking for free. And it's
Sorry,
like
Ryan.
it's got to be like 3-4 in the morning or something like that. We're the only people in there. You take over the stereo and we're just bumping Sparkmaster tape. And some lady comes in. She was like a travel nurse or something like that. And me and Trevor think that we look so cool, fucking, dancing to Sparkmaster tape and like saying the lyrics. And she's just like Snapchatting us and everything because we're just like bumbling idiots in the middle of a fucking pizza parlor.
I just want to
Exactly. And she's just like, I guess this is what Reno's about.
You're like,
Damn right.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah.
No, that's crazy, dude. So the album you gave us, sorry.
No, that was the end of my tangent.
He gave us an artist, but he also gave us the album, which is the newest album that he just released.
Yeah.
Which is what is it called? The Sale of a Soul.
Yes.
Which he already has a plan for an album next year. I looked it up. It's already out there already. It's called I think it's called The Red.
Okay. I'm on board, man.
Dude,
I'm fucking
so hyped for it.
Yeah.
But I mean, this shit was legit. And do you guys have any particular songs that stand out? Because I have a few that I like went instantly into my skate playlist that I listened to today before I came home late to set up for the podcast while I was skating.
So
I was just like fucking
pretty
ripping
much
it,
most of them, but
body checking 12-year-olds that were getting away.
Casper is so fucking
Amazing,
dope.
dude.
So dope.
Might I say, I love the way how artistic all of his spelling is and shit.
Oh, yeah.
Dude,
yeah,
nobody
yeah.
does that shit anymore.
It's doom shit, dude.
Dude, me and Libs used to do that where you'd misspell everything in different ways because the English language has so many different ways to say the same shit.
Freedom.
It's like graffiti shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, it's so rare that people do that nowadays. And I'm like, oh man, I fucking am falling in love with this dude. I want to be his fucking opening act, and I don't sound anything like him.
But
Just give me a mask.
pretty much most of them. Casper was fucking amazing. Pocket Dial. Like
That's
when
my
I came
favorite
over,
part,
that's what I was listening on my way, and the whole time before you even got here, I was like, "When I fuck,
True Evil.
yeah,
Frozen
True Evil,
like
Ocean.
Rocket Power, yeah,
Frozen,
yeah.
Was it Frozen Ocean?
Frozen Ocean
was my top one because
Was it? Okay.
it has the beat change towards the end where it's like almost two different songs.
Yeah,
Fucking amazing. Man.
Peanut
Amazing.
Butter
Peanut butter is great.
is great. I think
I love how much he talks about weed.
Yeah.
I like that peanut butter breath. I'm like, dude, I don't even like people that rap about weed. I love this guy.
so dope, right?
Yes.
I think besides Casper, though, my favorite song was probably Liechtenstein. And it's such a fucking backpacker song. Such a backpacker song.
Dude, I didn't mind the feature that he had.
Dude ripped it.
Dude, talk about... So when you listen to that, I don't know how your brain works, but when I hear it, I'm like seeing his words. And they're so perfect.
Yeah.
Exactly how I want to write. They're so nice.
The way that
like the OCD, every syllable and every bar matches exactly correct for every other one. There's no off shit.
Nope.
And to be able to say what you want to say and have that many syllables, that shit, and not be Tech 90.
Make it sound good.
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
and not be Tech 90
he was
about
chopping
it.
without chopping.
Amazing.
He has the
Analyst.
vocabulary. He has the
Analyst
style.
is his name, by the
It
way.
fits in.
Yeah, analyst. Yeah,
Yeah.
Especially like me and what does he say? Me and Tape are getting lifted to Mars. We becoming one with the moon and the stars. Yeah, it's like
it's just and dude, it's so good.
and then it just enhances so much more when then Sparkmaster comes on, but he doesn't necessarily.
he's like,
but he just
I've been awesome
styles.
365. I want like it's a whole
He just
different, but
styles all over it, man. It's just crazy.
yeah,
It's
it makes
just
me.
crazy.
It made me feel warm and happy.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god, dude, I should fucking snuggle up in this
Yep.
right now. Like it was like a heated blanket for my heart.
Yeah.
I love it.
This album in general, the fact that it is like 27, 30 minutes, every single time I've listened to it, I started it at the intro and I've ended it at the outro.
Every time.
Every single time. That is a classic. That's
Every
what
time.
a classic is.
I feel like that's what he does though. Like he knows exactly what he wants to do. He has a whole idea how he wants to execute it, and he does it perfectly.
Yep.
Dude. Dude, rap and making shit like that nowadays is so hard. Like,
Oh, yeah.
just writing a song, okay, but then having to write a song in a certain fashion of an album. That's
Yeah.
like it gets so deep and so hard. That sounded gay. Pause. Pause. But seriously, to be able to do something like that, like it takes such a creative artist to be able to make albums like this. You know, like anybody can like rap some verses and make like put out 6 songs, 10 songs, and be like, hey, here's some shit. But to like have a whole idea and like fucking theme behind it where it follows it all the way through, and the videos are it, and the titles and the spelling of it, it's like, God, dude, how fucking nerdy are you gonna get? All the way nerdy.
The other one, All Night, when he's just like, because he's like gangster on some of it, and then he just flips and gets super conscious, you know, and he's like, the water's toxic, or even the drowning the fish. Last night I wish that I had a wish. Like,
he can do anything he wants. That's the best thing about it. It's
and
like,
the dopest part is that he's self-aware about it, because then at the end of that portion before the beat switches, he's like, all right, enough of this Captain Planet shit. And then he gets into just some bars afterwards. It's so dope.
He knows it, dude. It's like he's like an outer experience controlling something.
100%.
Like he knows exactly what he's capable of and just does it. It makes me feel so inadequate as somebody who makes music, dude.
Yeah.
I'm like, I just told everybody that I struggled. I took 3 days to write 4 bars. This guy's over here fucking manning a spaceship in a different galaxy. Fuck, dude.
Oh, man. No, super dope, though. Super dope.
1 out of 10 fucking galaxy supernovas. What do you give it?
I'm going to give it we're going to do a 1 out of 10 this time?
1 out of 10 supernovas, bro.
I'm going to do 9.5. And there's one reason for it, and I don't think maybe he is aware of it. I don't know. It's my own personal preference that I fucking hate beat tags with a passion.
He does. He doesn't like it.
So therefore,
he really don't like it.
That knocks down for me that 0.5. If there were no beat tags, I think it's perfect.
All right, MC Friend, what do you give it? 1 out of 10. Supernovas.
It's challenging because I don't have any reason to knock it any points. I want to give it a total 10. The only thing that I want more, which is maybe why I think I like Pocket Dial a bit, is like we're talking about Woodchuck. I think that is like probably my favorite Sparkmaster Tape song, and it's like it just goes a little bit hard. I feel like I just want like a couple more like maybe quick hard songs. I think maybe
fair enough.
But that's not taking away from anything that he did. Like I still, for that reason, I'll give it a 9 out of 10. But that's not taking anything away from it. That's totally personal preference.
Hey,
but I also say that it's a classic from start to finish. The outro is amazing. It's just like he's so real. He literally is like a guy that I would love to meet, but will never obviously.
Yeah, you're like, I wouldn't even know.
You already might have met him. You would never know.
Could be you, bro. I don't even know.
Holy shit. No, this is amazing. And for it being like a brand new album that he just put out, like, it's a fucking masterpiece for sure.
Yes.
My one takeaway, and it's gonna be a shitty takeaway because a lot of people are gonna be like, "Hey, bro," but that's his thing. Is that I'd like to hear what he normally sounds like a little bit more, because he does it. He raps in his own normal voice without the chop and screw, but he uses that chop and screw a lot.
Yeah, he does.
So I'd like to hear a little bit more of him fucking really spitting some shit. Like I want to hear. Like maybe a full song of him just fucking really ripping it. He does not have one full song where without any type of effects or something, which is his thing, and he does it so well. So it's like it's hard to complain on that.
That and also like you want to hear who he is, but like more, you do actually get to hear who he is. Actually, is more than so many other artists because you see his complexities that he can be conscious and he can be hard.
Exactly. And he can do what that's the thing. He can do whatever he wants. Yeah, dude, it's amazing.
Yeah, so
it's so funny. He's transparent, but nobody knows who the fuck he is.
I mean, yeah,
he's an enigma, dude.
Yeah.
Dude. And he has that one line in the hook. He's like, "I'm chilling with my homies when I'm chilling with ghosts," talking about his dead friends.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, dude, this guy is
with
so different, dude.
I'm chilling with goats.
Yeah, he's so dope, dude. Talking about how, All right. Well, if you guys
you didn't get your number though out of your 10. You didn't drop your.
He's gonna have to get a 7 because I want to hear him more.
Fair enough.
I want to hear him because obviously he doesn't have a problem fucking rapping. Mm-hmm. The dude raps so good, but I want to hear him.
Fair enough. Yeah. No.
Like I'd love to hear a song or two of him actually just really rapping, like honestly as him. I love the. I mean,
I think,
But it's almost a disservice to how well he does what he does, though.
I would
Because nobody does the chop and screw like he does. Dude.
Yeah.
I mean,
nobody does it anymore either.
Yeah, I was
That,
gonna
you
say
know?
it's definitely not something that's done.
Yeah.
But like 3-6 Mafia, you get the
Sure,
legends
yeah,
and shit.
UGK,
but
everybody,
he's
like-
he does it different to where
Paul
it's like
Wall.
it fits so well into the songs that you almost don't even notice. That it's like you're like, oh, that is the way he sounds. It's part of it. It's so good, dude.
I think also that for me, it would have been an 8 if the replay value wasn't there. Because I've been back through it like fucking 10 times now. You know? And it's like the replay value was
after
so
work
high.
today, that's what I listened to while I fucking went and skated.
That's why it gets
Terrible
bumped
at
up that
skating,
extra.
but I was very happy while skating because I was like, well, yeah, oh, didn't land that. Still didn't land that either. Okay, all right, didn't land that. Normal day.
Yeah. 100%.
He knows, except he lands his shit.
Hey.
All right. Well, before we end this, why don't you go ahead and drop your social medias one more time for all the folks out there? Let them know, and yeah.
Yeah, so it's MC Friend, predominantly on Instagram and TikTok. I also wanted to do a little bit of a shout out to a place that I'm helping out. Helping up with a food menu and also bartending, whatever they really need around the place. It's called the EP. It's a listening room. So basically a lot of vinyl hip hop. They brought in DJ Elzo. They're bringing in Jamal. They're bringing a lot of local, talented musical individuals. Give a shout out to them for sure. Yeah.
Y'all hear that? Local folks here in Reno, did you hear that? It's called
The EP.
The EP, and it's a listening room.
Go fucking
And it's
listen
a
to some
coffee
stuff.
shop that is also a bar. You can go there, you can get a cold brew at night and you can read a book. There's not any places really in town where
Or you
get
can
the
have
best
an
of both
old
worlds.
fashioned.
You can have
If you want to
that
have an
too.
adult beverage. Dude, maybe we might have to do like a listening party there for the Glass Tongue album.
There you go.
EP that
would
we're
be
working on.
Sick. That would be super cool. And celebrate it, I'm sure.
Oh, I'm fucking hyped for this. Folks, is there an Instagram for it?
Yeah, it's the EP. Let me double check real quick. Yeah, friend Jason Bailey, I used to bartend with him years ago, and he bought it from some other people because he, has a passion for bartending, and it was a coffee shop that kind of was making that transition. He's also converting the basement into a commercial kitchen, which is super exciting. If we could talk a little bit, I actually just got a job as a business startup specialist. I've always kind of had an aspirations towards entrepreneurship. I've made a lot of syrups. I've made a lot of things like that. So I'm helping him with this menu, which is something that's so beautiful because I get to celebrate that creativity. At the same time, I'm learning how to start a business. He's converting the basement into a commercial kitchen. I can get my business license and I can actually, it's all kind of music and
Working together,
bartending and food and entrepreneurship all kind of coming into one big thing. And that's why it's very important to me to give them this shout out. It's the EP Listening Lounge, EP Listening Lounge on Instagram.
All one word or
All one word.
no
yeah.
underscores, no nothing?
Nope.
And
EP
as the
Listening
folks
Lounge.
know, it'll be tagged down in
We're
the
gonna
description.
fucking tag
we'll
it,
tag
man.
it. That way you guys don't have to do any work.
Damn
We
it.
know how lazy you guys are because
Yeah.
we are that lazy too.
Okay.
So just go into the description,
Okay.
leave us a 5-star review.
Obviously.
Have to.
And then also click all the links and like all the stuff.
Yeah.
It's that easy. You can follow us at The Rap Dad Podcast.
Do it.
On Instagram. But follow Melancholy because he's about to drop a goddamn album.
March 31st. I
That's
believe
right.
this will be.
This will be out right before it.
The day before?
Yep.
The 31st is a Friday. So there you go. No fucking excuses, man.
Yeah, you're listening to this on a Thursday. And that
Yeah.
means tomorrow his EP comes out.
It fucking comes out.
Yeah,
which is
and
amazing.
forever.
When you hear our
Which-
song together,
yeah.
make sure that you, pester us to get a project going.
Exactly.
Because I would
Absolutely.
love to see that happen.
Hey, the people who listen to this will absolutely pester us. So
can't
100%.
be careful what you wish for.
I can't
And
wait.
yeah, we're going
If it weren't for them,
Yeah.
this would still be in the vault for another 10 years.
Seriously, no joke. Seriously, everybody that follows us, listens to this and also follows on Instagram, sincere especially. Thank you guys because you got this EP
Yes.
out. He's been sitting on it forever.
Been waiting.
But we're gonna end the
I've been-
episode
yeah.
with a song
From the EP.
from the EP, your song featuring MC Friend
Yep.
called "The Road."
The Road.
I'm super hyped for it. We love you guys, and we out.
Peace.
Peace.
Yeah.
La-di-da-di, we like to party. We're lightning in a bottle, some science in a body. I'm a loner, daddy, a rebel in my own mind. An old soul should have been born before his own time. Rolling with the punches, floating up to the sun. Wax wings melt and fall back to earth, stunned. Young Icarus, drinking the icky out of a pint glass. Let's bypass dinner, baby, head straight to the nightcap. I'm halfway gone, so long, I'll see you later. These make or break moments of building to something greater. It's the playing Ray Invader, not saving face for the neighbors. In danger of losing himself to the blues that got entangled. Star-spangled underachiever, breather of ether, either die living cautious or prosper with the dreamers, true believers. Some drowned and some of us float. Well, what can I say? Guess you reap what you sow.
It's been a long time walking down this road now. We look up just to watch the sun go down. We learn to hunt and forage, provide our own meals, and capture how it feels to reinvent the wheel. Rolling down the hill to gauge the count of productivity, proclivity for wasting all the time, worried of little things, belittling conscious thought, letting go the turbulence. The rocks are in the road and there to show us what we're up against.
If I'm not perfect, means that I'm just a person perturbed by self-assurance. These words are my insurance. I've served it, been protected, accepted it, been rejected, neglected by those who said we were family. I stand corrected. A portion of my reality now is filled with calluses and fallacies of happy never after sought to shatter me. Kind words are flattering, keep it to yourself. Put your money where your mouth is. You're vouching for someone else, bound to the signs of hell. Though not intimidated, I fought and been integrated, but sought to shift from the flagrants. Missed the golden opportunity, it's nothing new to me. I'm looking for inner circles, not high fashion and jewelry. Beauty that the day brings, birds chirping and all that. I whistle to the tune that I may never get my life back. Not the one I had because the tonic drink was hazardous, but what I got free time to focus on being passionate.
Been a long time walking down this road now. We look up just to watch the sun go down. We learn to hunt and forage, provide our own meals, and capture how it feels to reinvent the wheel. Rolling down the hill to gauge the count of productivity, proclivity for wasting all the time, worried of little things, belittling conscious thought, letting go the turbulence. The rocks are in the road and there to show us what we're up against.